We're going live one day. We are live. It says you're live. Hey, good morning. This is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, and I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And it's about 6:55, which means it's really not 5 a.m., which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. And this is our 387th episode. Yesterday, the show got like a bunch of likes yesterday. I was actually surprised. I guess I hit a chord, so that was good. So thanks for all the likes for those who watched the show yesterday, and hopefully keep watching. And nice thing about YouTube is you can watch any time. So even if I'm not up at 5 a.m. like I wasn't, or not up at 6 a.m. to watch the shows, you can watch it many times during the day, which is cool, or days later as you go. And oh, who am I? I don't know. I forgot to say. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And this is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, where we talk about Scrum and Agile in a practical and tactical way, and talk about bringing value to the customer, have some fun, not working, comes the cat, not working 60, 80 hours a week, and getting a good pace, right? Delivering stuff, being happy, have some fun. Like we have those Coke Mentos videos we do, and experiments with the kiddos and at the home, and other experiments just to see about having fun in a Scrum way, or at least an Agile way, right? So, two things I want to talk about today. Flow and frameworks. And picking a framework, how does that work, right? And then time and expectations, where you need to know time. Some people don't think they need to know time, but I'm like, it really you do. Some basic project program management stuff that applies to Agile projects. At least you can't be too naive not to understand them. So, first thing, talk about frameworks. I was at one organization where we were trying to say, okay, what framework would you have the teams of the company learn first before before they decide to do other framework stuff like that? Myself and the other Agile coach, we both agreed that we thought Scrum was a good framework. And the reason why, if you do Scrum right, you learn teamwork, how to work together, how to communicate. It's about interactions. It's a good framework for developing that working together mentality to produce bigger, better products. And some would say, well, maybe we should just do Kanban. So here's what I would suggest. And in a corporation, you got the scaled Agile, right? You can do that. It depends on where you're coming at. If you're an individual organization or team, like a small team, and you're trying to figure out which one to take, it's not about the framework. The first questions you should be asking goes to the first value in the manifesto. Individuals and interactions over process and tools. A framework is a process and tool, okay? And like, oh my God, no, you can't say it's a process and tool because we don't like that, right? But it is. It's a process and tool. That's what a framework is. It's a tool of how to work together. So you always go first into how the individuals interact, right? In the interaction of what's going on. And I would say it's the flow of the work. How's the work flow? You got to ask yourself, okay, let's lay out the flow. Here's how we want to run our stuff. We want to do some dev work, testing, analytics, whatever you got to do to get all the work done. And then also the flow of how does this stuff get approved and put into production, right? That's all part of that flow, right? It ain't just I'm going to code. It's how do I get it from I got an idea, I code it, I look at it, I test it, and then it gets approved and gets released into production. That whole flow. So it's not just the technical details, but the flow of the work. So you got to ask yourself, okay, what kind of flow we got? And then from that, you also ask, there's a couple of questions like, and there'll be a little project management, program management parts to these questions too. And then you look at the people, right? In Scrum, product owners are technically there a couple times a sprint, right? So if you have 2 weeks, they really want you there a couple times. If they're too busy, and then maybe look at Kanban. Kanban is a continuous flow model. You're always pushing things through. If the people approving stuff or testing stuff or working stuff aren't available all the time, does Kanban really work? No, maybe. I don't know. Depends. But seriously, it's like one of those things. So you got to look at how the people are. What do the people want to do? Do you want to work together as a team? Do you want to work as a bunch of individuals? I think Combine is more of an individual sport than like Scrum. I think is more team sport, but that's my impression and how I've seen it work. And I see organizations that are a lot of individuals, a team, a bunch of individuals, and I sometimes wonder if they really should do Scrum because they really never talk to each other, never interact, never code together, no nothing. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you should really do Scrum unless you really want to be a team. So this is the kind of things you look at. And then you got XP and you got scale and you got all kinds of different things out there. So those are two of the things, right? So we looked at workflow, interaction between people. What do the people want, right? Individuals first. First statement about the individual. What would the individual like to do? Rather than me as an agile coach dictating, you will be Scrum or you will be Kanban, and this is what I think, and this is what you're going to do. You should ask the team, right? People out there are like, oh shit, I didn't do it. I just went and told them they're going to do this. You give some ideas what they want to do, how they want to do it. They might have to change around a little bit. So those two things. Then about time, and we're going to talk about time in the next thing, but you got to know how long this effort's going to be lasting for, right? If it's a real short term, maybe none of those. Maybe Kanban and Scrum really aren't the answer. Maybe the answer is XP because you got a short deadline. You got to get it done. Everybody's got in the room. You spend a little more money on XP, but you deliver it, right? So yeah, you got to look at time too, which goes into the next topic, time. I had a senior person years ago working on team line. Says, well, we got 2 years to get this job done. I'm like, 2 years? Who told you 2 years? Well, we know we have 2 years to get done. Like, people like that are a cancer. Why do I say that? One, nothing's 2 years. One of the things I had explained to the person is like, well, we got to get stuff delivered so they can show to the board so that they keep funding us, right? And you have 2 years, but if you don't show progress during that 2 year period, you basically going to get let go at some point in time. And they would always argue. Well, I had a thing the other day. How about this? Got a new project coming along. And you're an Agile coach or Scrum Master or you're a team. And you're like, okay, what framework should I apply? We go through those first 3 questions, right? The work. And then we'll get into time. So let's say they say, I wrote this like, oh, I love this comment. We got this project that we're going to fund for 3 months. But don't worry about it. We got plenty of money, right? We got plenty of money. If we can, we have extension money. When you hear that, that is waterfall talk. That is talk from an organization who is always late, who always misses deadlines. When people show that they are a cancer to your team. The beauty of Scrum is that you demo, you get stuff done, you put it into the done pile. It's deployable code. It's a deployable product. You could sell it tomorrow if you really wanted to. It may not be as mind-blowing, needle-moving until you get a couple sprints of work done, right? But you could. Where you hear those voices, well, we got it for like 3 months, but don't worry, we have more money. That gives you an out. That gives the team an out. That gives the organization out for failure. It's an out for failure. When you hear that, you go, bullshit. I'm calling your bullshit. Because I don't know if it really was funded that long, you would just give us the money, right? It's a bullshit call. You got to call them. Well, you don't say bullshit. You think bullshit, and then you got to ask questions. Okay, how much money do we really have, right? And what are we really talking about here? Because and when people say, no, don't say it. You don't say we got like plenty of money and time to finish the product. We have 3 months to deliver a product to impress everybody. And if we impress everybody in 3 months, we will get more money. If we don't deliver a product in 3 months to impress everybody, the odds of us getting more money are very low. And let's be honest, right? And if you don't set that expectation from an agile, and this is my program management hat, but also reality. You don't want people thinking, oh, I don't have to finish this. I don't have to get the definition done. I can take next sprint. I can do the testing in the next sprint. Don't worry, we got plenty of time. We don't have to test it now. We don't have to have something delivered. Maybe that 3-month mark is actually put something in production so revenue comes in, which they can then use as justification to continue your project, right? Just because you got something that works in dev after 3 months doesn't mean you understand maybe what the business logic is when the person says, oh, we'll get more money, right? So you have to be very careful in this time thing when you have those cancerous people who tell you that you have all this time in the world. You don't, right? So I'm just trying to be honest with you. But you need to ask those questions. So even though I'm an Agile coach or I'm a Scrum Master, I don't really care about that stuff. You have to care about that stuff. You have to ask that question. Yes, it's a little bit more on the project management side or program management side. Yes, but you have to have the understanding of how much time and money goes. And I'll give a quick example. Got my phone. There's my math. It's too early in the morning and I can't really do math. So let's say, I'm just curious. Pick a number. I'm going to say I can give dollars or I can give hours. Let's say I got something that has hours. Let's say I got something that has 5,000 hours. So we got to say, because they already figured a number and they have a rate for their organization. They say I got enough funding for like 5,000 hours worth of work. And let's say we have a team. I'm going to write this down a little bit on a piece of paper. Well, I guess I can use the whiteboard, right? I could use the whiteboard. We're going to do this and get done in 15 minutes because it'll be quick. I want to show you how to do this quick math. So, person comes in, project owner, CEO. Hey, I got enough for 5,000 hours for your team to do this special project. Woo. Special secret project. Special project. Right? And let's say your team has 10 people on it. I'm just going to pick a number of 10 people. Yes, I know it's more than 9, but I like whole numbers. Maybe it makes me help me easier. 10 people. And here's some figures. A lot of teams, what's a pure productive hour? Personally, I would do the simple math, and I would say 40 hours per week. Just in general, because I'm paying them 40 hours. Even though their productive time is 6 hours, I still got to pay you for 8, right? So you're still paying for 8. So it's really 8. It's really 40 hours. Okay, so we're going to do the math real quick, right? So I got 5,000 hours. So I got 5,000 hours divided by 10 people. What does that give me? I'm going to do the math. I know it's a whole number divided by 10 people. I think it's 500 hours, right? 500 hours per people. And then I'm going to divide that by 40 hours per week. 40 hours per week, right? So I got 500. I'm going to divide that by 40. So you get about 12 weeks worth of time. So that gives you about 12 weeks to get your project going, right? 12 weeks. What is 12 weeks? It's 3 months, right? Yeah, 3 months. A quarter. So that, you may say, oh, it's a lot of time. You have 1 quarter. 1 quarter to deliver. So you gotta ask that question, right? The math. You got 12 weeks to deliver, which gives you 1 quarter. 3 months, right? So you need to do that math and figure out when that effort needs to be delivered, because that might be an expectation why to keep the team going. So the question is, do we do XP to make sure we meet the deadline? Do we do Scrum? Do we do Kanban? It depends, right? I think when you have a complex system and you got to deliver something in a time frame, I'd rather do Scrum or XP than individual work, to be honest with you, because I want everybody's hands on deck to finish fixed problems going forward. And you can do that in Kanban, but it just takes a little bit. Anyway, we're at the 16-minute mark, so we're 1 minute past the 15-minute mark in the daily Scrum. So I will say, please give us a thumbs up. Appreciate it anytime you do. And ring the little bell. So when we do experiments and we go live like this and post stuff up, you'll get notice that the material's going up. And with that, I say, have an awesome day. Happy scrumming, and see you later. Bye. And I go end stream, and we go, see ya.